Now, he will be. We've got Ryan Kreidler in the minors. I don't know if they move Kreidler over to second so that Baez can continue to play short, or they just keep Kreidler at short and move Baez over to second. But if you're a shortstop and you're slowing down a little bit, second base isn't a bad option. And he can play second base. Now, with that being said, he played second base in New York and he did fine. But the only reason he played second base is because, and as he said specifically, the only way I'll ever move from shortstop to second base is if I'm playing alongside my good buddy Francisco Lindor. Newsflash, folks, Francisco Lindor is not coming to Detroit. That ain't happening. So we'll see how well that works out. A.J. Hinch likes his guys to be able to play multiple positions, though. Sort of like Joe Madden did. And Joe Madden made it work for Javier Baez. So there is that. And we can hope that this works out. We'll see. I will tell you right now, I plan on putting an anemometer out on my patio and letting you know how much the wind changes, how much the speed of the wind changes when Detroit is at home and they're playing here in Windsor, to see how much the wind changes from all the swings and misses that Javier Baez is going to be providing. Because let's face it, folks, all hail the strikeout king. Javier Baez is in Detroit. Now, on to Eduardo Rodriguez. I love what Eduardo Rodriguez said in his press conference when he was welcomed to Detroit. Somebody asked him what it was about Detroit that lured him away from Boston, and if he could point out one of the important reasons that he left Boston for Detroit. And he said, and I quote, "Which is bigger, 77 or 18?" Boston made a qualifying offer of 1 year, $18.4 million. And he turned that down to come to Detroit for 5 years at basically at 5 years at 15.5 or $15.4 million a year. And he was honest about it. You know, 1 year versus 5, $18 million versus 77. You know, what's wrong? You know, what's wrong with being honest about it? So I'm kind of happy that he was at least open and honest. Look, there's a reason that the Tigers non-tendered Matt Boyd, and they knew they were going to do that at the end of the regular season when he went for flexor tendon surgery. He was in his contract year. They didn't tender him an offer because they knew he wasn't going to be back until at the very earliest June. He seems to think he'll be able to start throwing in spring training, which is fine. But it's still going to take him until at least May or June to be able to get up onto a mound and start pitching again. Eduardo Rodriguez is proven. He's a winner. He pitched well in the postseason in 2019 and in 2021. He didn't pitch last year because of myocarditis, because of COVID-19. And what I mean by that is he developed myocarditis as a side effect from having COVID-19, which is unheard of, but it was something that happened to him, and he wasn't sure if he was going to pitch again, let alone pitch to the level that he was able to pitch at this year. Now, he may have been a little bit off this year, but let's face it, I'll take Eduardo Rodriguez every fifth day over Matthew Boyd. Let's get to another couple of things. Detroit had 9 players that they could have offered, that they could have tendered an offer to. Matt Boyd was the only one that they did not tender an offer to. Jose Cisnero, Joe Jimenez, Jeimer Candelario, Dustin Garneau, Harold Castro, Victor Reyes, I'm trying Spencer Turnbull, and I can't think of the other guy. Get all choked up thinking about it. Except not. So the only one that they did not tender an offer to is Matt Boyd, and they did it for valid reasons. Now, you might sit there and go, well, Spencer Turnbull, he's had Tommy John surgery. Yeah, he's had Tommy John surgery. But he's proven what he's worth. He's proven his mettle. He's proven what he's capable of doing. And you want that in your rotation next year. If not next year. Oh, Michael Fulmer was the other offer that was tendered. So Jimenez, Fulmer, Cisnero, your bullpen is there's three bullpen pieces. Victor Reyes, Dustin Garneau, Harold Castro, Jamer Candelario, and Spencer Turnbull. So those are the guys that they've tendered offers to. We'll say so long to Matt Boyd. He did a lot of good things in Detroit. He did a lot of good things in the community in Detroit. We want to congratulate him on his wife's delivery of twins in October. But this is the business of baseball. Now, a lot of people would sit there and say, and I'm one of I'm one of them. I firmly believe that Detroit should have traded Boyd in 2019 and gotten something for him. But Al Avila doesn't make good trades. He's not done well on the trading market. And so, as a result, he would have probably ended up getting fleeced. So at the end of the day, we probably wouldn't have gotten anything back worth writing home about in a trade with Matthew Boyd as the centerpiece. So in all honesty, I think this is just Al Avila. Like it really is. If you remember right, when he traded Ian Kinsler to the Angels for two right-handed pitching prospects, neither one of them are still with the organization. I think both of them are out of baseball. He basically said that the Angels were the only people that were interested in trading for Kinsler, and they wouldn't give him what he wanted, so he had to take what they were offering. Well, okay. So you're basically saying you got screwed. Now, Kinsler isn't with the Angels anymore. I do believe he retired. But still, the whole idea is you traded a perennial All-Star and a perennial Gold Glove finalist for two right-handed prospects that aren't even in the game anymore. In all honesty, they weren't even prospects. They were just right-handed minor league pitchers. So, Al Avila just doesn't have a clue when it comes to making trades. They did trade for Tucker Barnhart this year. This offseason, they traded away a second-round pick in the 2019, I believe it was, draft. Nick Quintana, third baseman. They sent him to Cincinnati. And immediately after they traded for Tucker Barnhart, they picked up his 2022 club option for $7.5 million. And they also said goodbye to Nico Goodrum. They cut him from the 40-man roster, and he had enough service time that he could have taken free agency over an outright assignment to AAA. And he chose free agency. And if you didn't see that coming, then I'm sorry. So that's what's been going on for the Tigers this offseason. Again, I'm not thrilled with Javier Baez, but with all that being said, it does fill a need, and we did need a shortstop, and let's think about what this team is going to look like up the middle. You're going to have Tucker Barnhart, a Gold Glove winner behind home plate. You're going to have Javier Baez and a Gold Glove winner at short. Jonathan Schoop, a Gold Glove finalist at second, and Derek Hill in center field. You can't get much better up the middle than that. So, from that standpoint, they've improved themselves defensively. I just don't know how they're going to do offensively with Baez in the lineup because of the amount of times he strikes out and how young this lineup is going to be next year. You know, you're probably going to have, you may have Baez leading off. I don't know. I really don't know. You know, you might have Riley Green leading off, but a rookie leadoff hitter, I'm not big on that. I'm really not. Schoop seems pretty firmly implanted in the second spot, and that's fine. You probably put Torkelson third, Cabrera fourth, or you'll switch the two. You'll flip-flop the two. Candelario fifth. Possibly Baez sixth. More than likely, it's a crapshoot. Really, it is. You know, honestly, it may be a situation where Baez leads off, Schoop bats second, Torkelson hits third, Cabrera hits fourth, Candelario hits fifth, Riley Green hits sixth, Robbie Grossman hits seventh, Tucker Barnhart hits eighth, and Derek Hill hits ninth, or vice versa, Hill hitting eighth, Barnhart hitting ninth. Robbie Grossman could very easily lead off. He did it earlier. He did it most of the year this year for the Tigers, although he seemed pretty happy in the 3 slot. So there's a very distinct possibility that it'll be Grossman, Schoop, some sort of combination of Cabrera and Torkelson, Candelario, Green, Baez, and then some combination of Barnhart and Hill. Or Reyes, or Baddoo, depending on what they do with the roster, and depending on Derek Hill's health. So, there you have it. This is episode 1 of season 2. We probably won't be back until after the lockout is over. I hate to say it, but I really think that the owners are going to go ahead and lock the players out tomorrow night. So, I don't see that lockout lasting, or don't see that lockout ending until after Christmas, probably after the beginning of the new year. What that does to the winter meetings, I have no idea, because all business will be frozen. So that means the winter meetings will probably be in January, which will make things interesting. And the Tigers are pretty much done spending. They said they need one more pitcher. They wanted to get a couple of established starters. Don't be surprised if you see Zach Greinke in a Tigers uniform next year, because, again, the connection with A.J. Hinch. And he is a free agent. He'd be a pretty inexpensive deal. So that's a distinct possibility. So, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing a starting rotation of Rodriguez, Greinke, Mize, Skubal, Manning. So who knows? With that, folks, I want to thank Anchor for the distribution of the podcast. If you're checking us out on the YouTube channel, thank you so much for doing that. If you're not checking us out on the YouTube channel, you might want to try doing that. Follow us on Twitter at Podcast Tigers. You can also check us out if you want to send us an email. You can do that. TigersBaseballPodcast@gmail.com. It is the longest email address in the world, and I'm proud to say it. With that, folks, I'm Chris Schulte saying Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll be back after the lockout is over, and we'll see you then. Thank you so much. Go Tigers.